I'm going to tell you 4 stories about how I got where I am today, wherever that is. One story is about saying yes. One story is about saying no. One story is about saying, ouch! And one story I'm still writing. I have a pattern. I get an idea, a great idea, an amazing idea. Then I make it happen because I am a decisive person. And then at some point halfway through, I realize, holy shit, I have no idea what I'm doing. My entire professional career has been a process ranging from self-doubt to self-negotiation to taking the selfie. First story, 1994. I had just opened my first cafe in Berlin, a coffee roastery and bakery. I felt like Wonder Woman. Unstoppable. Nothing to fear, nothing to lose. My motto was do not look before you leap. But here's the thing about not looking before you leap. You never think about what could go wrong. You never ask yourself if there's water in the pool because you are simply too busy diving. And so my story goes, that wide divide between having the idea, making the decision to do it, and living that decision. I had been getting up at 2 in the morning to work alone in my kitchen 7 days a week for I honestly don't know how long. Finally, I hired not 1, but 2 accomplished French pastry chefs. There were cultural differences between the pastry chefs and myself, but mostly it was my challenge in leading people who had way more experience than I did. Imagine the boss learning by doing and at the same time steering the ship. One day, humiliated and in tears, I locked myself in my office. In that moment, as the boss, I couldn't let anyone see me like that, let alone offer any leadership. Yes, in that moment, the massive challenge was not tempering the chocolate, but getting me out of that office and back into that kitchen. I had to negotiate with myself. How was I going to get to yes while holding on to no? I always have this image of myself unpacking my mental baggage onto a large dining room table. Yes, in my case, it is a dining room table because I like to eat. And I set that table with everything that's going on in my head. I put out all my thoughts, I take a step back in order to examine them, but never judge them, and demystify those thoughts that could cloud my brain or truly fuck me up. Because in the end, it's those thoughts that are going to get me. Getting to yes in your own head, like any negotiation, means having a clear mind. You have to be willing to look at the good and at the bad and the ugly in order to proceed. Relinquish all self-defense mechanisms. Be honest, and by all means, be vulnerable. So there I am in my office. All my accomplishments meant nothing. I was in a mental free fall, and I was going to be hitting rock bottom real soon. Rock bottom is actually a good place to be because there is no place to go but up. Yes, I had been overambitious. I was underexperienced and altogether painfully naive. And I had made mistakes. And yet, I had managed to open a business as a woman in a male-dominated field, in a foreign country, in a foreign language. No, I had not studied gastronomy. I had not trained as a pastry chef. But I had been a Girl Scout. And I did have perseverance. I was not going to let those turds stop me. I was going to push them out of my head and go back into that kitchen, unlock that door, get back into that kitchen, my kitchen, and for better or worse, my kitchen to run. I needed one thought to get me out of that office. This place is mine. I learned 3 things that day. 3 things they don't teach you in school. 1, don't let other people into your head. 2, if you let them in, then you gotta get them out. And 3, people love to say no. Second story, 1997. My children were well. I did fire the French guys. And I got a new idea. I was going to expand. It was a huge space in Mitte. It was going to be my deli. It turned out to be the swimming pool with no water in it. And my motto changed. You know, maybe it is okay to look before you leap, especially when you have something to lose. The owners of the building of my deli didn't like my plans for the air system, so they sued me. I couldn't open my shop, so I sued them. They won, I lost. I had 2 choices. Door number 1, declare personal bankruptcy and lose everything. Door number 2, become business partners with the fellas who had sued me. Okay, where I come from, that's called sucking the devil's. I did manage to recover, and I did open my deli at a different site where it's still standing today. Third story. I was still licking my wounds when a Berlin arts institution called me. They wanted me to run their cafe. I had always seen my work as being more than just about cake and coffee, but cultural as well. It was a perfect fit, except that I couldn't call it Barcomi's. I embraced my new project, from jazz concerts on Saturday nights to funky organ music during Sunday brunch. And the food was completely different as well. My chef called it post-colonial Asian fusion. She was amazing. The food was fabulous. 2000. So 2 years had passed. Have you ever felt stuck in a situation? You can't move forward, can't turn back to the right and left or brick walls. Well, that's how I felt. I was an independent business, not a subsidized arts institution. We had very different management styles, not compatible. Truth is, you're only as stuck as you are in your head. And then I had a complete shift in focus. I realized I wasn't stuck. I was done. As a woman, I'd always been taught, stay with it, suck it up. You don't like it, do it again. Stay with it, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Well, the time had come for me to say no and close the business. I felt relieved no longer compelled to have to stay with something which was not working. Fourth story, 2007. My businesses continued to flourish. I got married, again. I had my third child. I had my fourth child. I wrote my first book. What could come next? Television. I got a call to replace the biggest German celebrity chef on TV, who had been sent to rehab in the Bahamas. It was a golden opportunity. I already had my foot in the door, wedged, solid. It was mine for the taking, prime time. I could taste it. All I had to do was reach out and grab it. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I had gained a bit of weight during my last pregnancy, 36.7 kilos, which is kind of a lot when you consider the baby only weighed 3.5 kilos. I had been a professional dancer. I had never been close to 40 kilos overweight. That's 10 babies. I had to audition live in Hamburg for TV people. I was working. I was nursing. I was trying to lose the 10 babies. And I was run down. As a matter of fact, it was the worst timing for me, and I knew it. But hey, when opportunity comes knocking, you answer, right? So together with my editor, who was also a personal friend of the producer, we set out for Hamburg. I was armed to the teeth with sauces, doughs, knives, rolling pins, and my travel breast pump. We got to hair and makeup. I waited 6 hours, and then I was on. It was kind of an out-of-body experience where I could hear myself speaking, but I had absolutely no idea what I was saying. I tanked. I bombed. I screwed the pooch. It could not have gone any worse. I had no idea I could be that bad. Shocked and dejected, my editor and I took the train back to Hamburg. At some point, he turned to me and said, "Wow, that was really bad. You were really bad." Yeah. What went wrong? I had all my ingredients. I had all my kitchen utensils. But let's go back to that large dining room table, the one with the good and the bad and the ugly thoughts. I was so busy preparing. I was so focused on everything outside of myself that I didn't want to acknowledge. I didn't look at those ugly thoughts, because if I had, I would have never auditioned. I bulldozed those thoughts, and they came back and they bit me in the ass. I was really shaken up. 2008, 8 months after my doomed audition, the PR company of my publisher got a phone call. A daytime German TV show wanted me to bake on their show live. I was petrified. And so, the negotiation process began. In order for me to do what seemed to be the impossible, I had to let go of my past flops. I had to refocus my energy and be in the present. Mind over matter. I couldn't let one bad day define the rest of my potential. 2019. I am the baking expert on 2 national German TV shows. I have been baking live on television for over a decade. Yeah. My 4 children, here in the audience, are happy and healthy. My first shop is celebrating its 25th anniversary. My deli has been around for 22 years. I am just finishing my 8th book. Yeah. Oh, and I'm still married to my second husband. From self-doubt to self-negotiation, I have taken huge chances in my career, and I have stumbled more than once. It is the struggle that got me where I am today. So you're looking at me for the recipe, the magic moon dust? You have to write your recipe. You have to set your table. Or stay at home in bed. No one is going to care. Or you can embrace the struggle, get up, go out that door, and get 'em. Thank you for your attention.